My name is Rahim Kamal, and welcome to my fourth and final critical creative reflection. Today's question asks, how did you integrate technologies, hardware, software, and online into your project? Technology has played a huge role in the making of this project in every step of the way. If we were to look chronologically, the first major use of technology, in this case, software, would come in the script writing and storyboarding. For the script, a software called Celtix was used. It was a specialized script writing software, which automatically formatted the script to industry standard formatting, so I could focus more on crafting the story, without having to worry too much about the format. As for the storyboard, I used Canva as well as Photoshop, as I had prior knowledge of how to use it, and it is a very user-friendly software. Overall, Canva was used quite a lot in different aspects, as it's quite versatile and much easier to use than Photoshop. I used it to design the posters for the film, different types of merchandise such as books, cups, and hoodies, as well as to design the title card of the film itself. Another area in which technology helped out massively was in the research and surveys. Using Google Forms, I was able to get a wide variety of responses from quite a few different people, which helped massively in deciding how I would market my film. One of the main forms of hardware I would use in this project was a DSLR, which I used to film. Using a DSLR presented many bonuses, but with them quite a few drawbacks as well. Firstly, the use of a DSLR gave better video quality and a generally more cinematic feel, and due to the quality I could more easily zoom into and crop without having to worry about compression. DSLRs are also better in a dimly lit setting as compared to a phone, which was beneficial as the look I was aiming for was very dreary and dark. The main drawback that came from using a DSLR was the stability of the shot. Using handheld footage on a DSLR, the footage would often come out as shaky and make it hard to notice the smaller details in the frame. This was worsened by the fact that I wasn't using a gimbal for the production. This made it so that some of the shots came out as shaky and made it harder to see some of the detail. This problem was mainly prevalent in the shots that were taken using a larger lens, and would later have to be fixed in the edit. In terms of lighting, I wanted my opening to be mostly naturally lit, but I did use LED lighting as well just to ensure visibility. Another form of hardware that was used was a printer in order to print out the invitation letter that would be used in the opening shot. After the filming was complete, I used Microsoft Excel to create a shot list of which shots to use from which files in what timestamps in order to make the editing process easier. Excel was also used in order to create the location scouting report and budget for the opening. As for the edit itself, it had to be done on a desktop, for which I used an Apple Mac Pro. Due to the size of the files, I had to use a desktop as a laptop would not be able to load them properly and would slow down the editing process extensively. Though using a desktop allowed me to run the editing software easier, it came with its own drawbacks, mainly portability, making it quite difficult to show my teacher my work and having to render and export the project each time I wanted to do so. In terms of editing software, I used Adobe Premiere Pro, as not only did it give me more options of customization of the edit as compared to other softwares, but it could also be taught to me by my father, who has experience in it. The software itself was very intuitive. Many of its tools helped me piece together the story. Using the side-by-side view, for example, proved to be quite useful when adding dissolves to see how the video progressed and flowed. The software also allowed me to slow down some of the footage, which proved to be very useful as a lot of the shots needed were only present in a few frames. However, this presented the first limitation of the software, as it only allowed for shots to either be slowed down or stabilized. So, for some shots I was forced to choose between the stabilization and the slowing down of the footage. However, in the end, I was able to incorporate the shakiness into the story itself. The color grading was another aspect which was done in Adobe Premiere, which gave a visual overload of objects on the landing panel, making it quite cumbersome to understand. But with the help of a few YouTube tutorials, I managed to figure it out, however only after undocking and deleting the critical panels, which I then had to retrieve. As for most of the communication with actors and such, it was done on WhatsApp, as it's the most commonly used communication app in Pakistan, and for the blogs, I used WordPress to present my journey. Most of the tools I used, whether it be hardware or software, gave many options for a wide variety of skill ranges, having a low barrier of entry. The software's capabilities and options would expand with the user as they become more accustomed to it.